I made 26 things last week. It was crazy sewing week, so if you are interested, stick around. Hi, my name is Agatha. Welcome in Agatha's Cottage. It's time for Friday Sews. As you know, this hashtag was started by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room many years ago. And I absolutely love making Friday Sews videos. While I remember what I'm wearing because I'm guilty of not mentioning it at all. So it's very old make. I think I made it 4 years ago. And to be honest, I don't remember if that was Kirsten Kimono Tee or self-drafted top. It's a little bit snug because I need to do something about armpits. Here it's just a bit tight where the bands are. But I can still wear it around the house, and I absolutely love this fabric. I have tons, absolutely tons to show you. I had crazy sewing week. I made 26 things. So I made hoodie for Alice, jumper for Alice, top for Alice, cardigan for Alice, few pair of undies, 5 pairs of boxers for Chris, and I think 11 pair of undies for me. I know, it's crazy, but I'm almost ready for our trip, so it was very necessary sewing. So I will start first with my undies because they are basically close to me, and I can show you some. So during the storms, actually post storm, when we had no electricity, I traced my ready to wear undies. So I like granny style panties. It's not even granny style, it's just high waisted panties that are very tummy friendly for someone who has IBS like me. So I have a few pairs of ready to wear undies that I absolutely like. I wouldn't say love. Like is a very good word for that. There are little bits that I wanted to tweak about them. And to be honest, I wasn't planning to make massive sewing of undies before our trip. I was planning to order online another 2 sets of 3, just so I will be sorted with new undies for the trip. Turned out my size is out of stock for last few weeks, so I said, okay, I don't have time to actually go from store to store and look for them. I'm just gonna make some. So during the storm I traced the pattern. I did a little bit of tweaking in relation to what I wanted to have done differently, slightly more cut out on the legs, etc. And I made first trial version and I absolutely love them. So I digged through my remnant stash in the attic, remnant jersey stash. I picked the bigger pieces and I cut out tons. I still have 2 or 3 pairs not finished, but I don't need them for the trip and I'm running short on sewing time. So I will quickly show you all my new undies. One thing about them, they are definitely not boring because the other ones were all nude color and I wanted something cheerful and colorful, and of course they look big. I don't have all here, just few, but that's fine, because you know they are handmade and they are my own jersey scraps. I absolutely love this ruffle, and you know I absolutely love them. They are so comfortable. And the last pair, but I absolutely love that one the most. I just adore those cuts. So that's all my new undies. Not all that I made, but all that I have here because I already wore a few pairs. But anyway, I decided I'm too young to wear boring nude panties. I wanted something cute and colorful, but something that would be comfortable as well. So they basically hit the spot and I couldn't be happier. I wasn't always keen on making undies, but I discovered a way that makes my life easier, and I'm gonna show you quickly what I do. I'm just gonna grab one pair. So what I do, I put together front and back, and on some I do closed, fully closed gussets if, for example, I have a seam here because I didn't have enough fabric. On some I will just leave it loose like here. So basically they are lying flat, just without side seams done. I do elastic, and when I do fold over elastic, I basically sandwich the fabric between the pieces of elastic. The thicker elastic is better because it's easier when you are not that experienced with it. Just takes a little bit of time to get used to, then you are flying even with very thin elastic. And I gently, very gently stretch, so I don't measure the elastic ahead of time, I just very gently stretch, and I do both legs. Then I do one side seam. Then on overlocker I attach the elastic. So what I do right sides together, so right side of the fabric with the right side of the elastic, and I gently, very gently stretch elastic and just go all around. Then I do top stitching with the zigzag and connect the other side seam to make sure that the side seams are not flipping back and forward, because I honestly hate that in ready to wear underwear. I just do very tiny, I don't know if you can see, I'm gonna try to do it like that, top stitching, kind of stay stitch to secure on the bottom of the leg and on the top of the elastic, and I do it on both sides of, on both legs, and it works fine. When I'm using the PK elastic, I'm gonna show you example on this one. The only thing I do differently is I first attach elastic on the serger, so right side of the elastic to the right side of the fabric, kind of like that, and then I serge it, very gently stretching, and then I turn it around, top stitch, and proceed like with the other pair, and works fine and speed up the process. So basically what I do all similar colors together. I don't really care that much about the perfectly matching the thread for the undies. If it would be outer wear, so something that everyone can see, that's a different story. With undies I'm not as peculiar as I normally am, and I absolutely love them. So I use Maraflex thread and the triple zigzag. I use stitch length 2 for doing the top stitching of the elastic, and it works fine. So I did it for years for Alice and it works brilliantly. So yeah, it's just speed up the process. Next thing I made are boxers for Chris. So if you watched my video last Friday, you know that I made one pair last week, and I said I want to power through and finish the rest of the ones that I started. So I did basically kind of like a production line. So I attached those same seams, pinned the seams on all of them, overlocked them, changed the next seam, overlocked, and basically powered through to have everything done, and it worked like a charm. So I made him few very cute pairs. I absolutely love this one. So Chris loves sushi, but because I'm allergic to shellfish, we avoid going to restaurants where there is a risk of me getting allergic reaction. So I just made him boxers with sushi, and you know, it's fun. So I hope he will like wearing them. And he's sorted for next few months with boxers. And I also made few pair of undies for Alice, the pictures here. And yeah, that's all the undies that I made, but I'm done. For foreseeable future, I'm done. I will make more, and I think going forward, whenever I will finish sewing the jersey project that I'm working on or that I cut out, I'm gonna turn the scraps into the underwear straight away. It will make my life easier, because you know it's good to have a spare undies, as my granny used to call church undies, or you know, hospital undies in case of emergency. But it would be good to have, you know, running stash for a quick project that I can sew without really thinking. As I have to admit, this week has been really stressful, and sewing something that's kind of repetitive and you are doing the same thing over and over and over again, it helps to clear my mind and calms me down, and it's just brilliant. So I absolutely loved making them. And on top of that, I really want to minimize my elastic stash. So until now I had one box, like the Think Pink box, from my subscription days, with the leg elastic, so it's a PK elastic or the fold over elastic, and the other one with the waistband elastics. And I want to go down on my stash so I can fit everything into one box. I'm not there yet, but I think by May probably I will get there. So things that I made, they're in no particular order, basically the way I grabbed them. So I made Alice this t-shirt for our trip. She loves purple and she loves horses, she loves unicorns. I used one of the Ottobre magazine patterns and quickly cut it out. I finished everything with the bias tape on the neckline, just a I think it's inch hem, and the bottom of the sleeve I finished with the PK elastic, just to give it tiny bit of more interest and a little bit of like a lace look. So I learned that technique of adding the PK elastic to the sleeve from Alisa from Thoughtful Creativity. If I can find the video tutorial where she used it, I'm gonna link it down below. The fabric is cotton jersey I got in Fabric Outlet. It will be probably year and a half ago. I still have a version in light blue with dark blue horses, and I promised Alice I will make her something out of it when we are back. Next thing that I made is jumper for Alice. So it's one of the Ottobre magazine patterns. I'm gonna pop the number and the number of the magazine in the description below, or link if it's still available. So it's here. I tweaked it a little bit, so I added inseam pockets, and I used tutorial by Alisa about adding the pockets into the seam. I also added binding, bias binding, onto the sleeve to create kind of sports version type of thing. I don't know how to call it. Basically, I'll leave it, put it like that. There's in the pattern there are two pieces of sleeve, and there is this one piece between them, and that is, and I thought that it's kind of missing something. So I had this blue bias binding that I had few years in my stash, and I didn't see myself using it for anything particular anytime soon, and I just put it beside because I consider it for the neckband. And we thought, actually, you know, it would be good if we'll put it on the side. So we just left it loose originally, but after having a look at the sleeve, we decided it's just flopping too much, so I top stitch it. My top stitching is not perfect, but that's fine. At the back there is plain purple, so the lavender is from Ecobee, it's just looped French terry, and the hedgehog fabric is from Carlo Fabrics, and I absolutely love it. It's so cute. I use Specky Seamstress bias tape and Little Rosy Cheeks. I think no, it wasn't Little Rosy Cheeks. I don't remember who's the label, but it was in the Think Pink box a few years ago. So I thought that it's just the blue matches the blue in the jumper, and I absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong, I had horrible time with sewing this jumper, and it's not pattern fault, not fabric fault. It's just me being too cocky. Basically, I cut out the pattern pieces and cut out the ribbing, etc. And I forgot to mark on the pattern pieces that I added the seam allowance to the cuffs already. So when I was, and Ottobre magazine comes without the seam allowance added, so you need to add your own seam allowance. So I cut it out with additional seam allowance, and I put the cuff together. It seems a bit big, but I was like, no, it's just, my imagination. I attach it, top stitch it, overlock it and everything. And I asked Alice to put it on, and it was so big that it was just ridiculous. So I had to unpick it. So I unpick it, and I had to shave an inch, no, actually inch and a half overall from the cuff, and then do 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, so it will actually stay together. It's not tight or anything. She still have plenty of loose. So cuffs were done, and then I had a total brain fart, because that's the only explanation. When I was cutting the bottom band, I did, like, the width of the ribbing wasn't enough to cut it out in one piece. So instead of cutting two identical pieces, I didn't want to waste ribbing, so I cut one big piece and then small piece from whatever remnant I had there left, and I pinned them together to kind of keep in my head that they need to be sewn together. So come sewing, I took it out of the project bag and I saw it, and I was like, why did I leave the scrap of ribbing here? I don't need it. So I put the band without it, and I of course attach it. I of course top stitch it, and I could leave it, but it was cinching her in so much that I could see it's not that comfortable. I knew that over time it will stretch, but if she wouldn't wear it because it's not comfortable, it wouldn't get stretched anyway. So I had to unpick the bottom band and add this little, basically it's like a 12-15 centimeter piece. So I spent on this jumper way more than I should, because it's relatively easy make, but because I made silly mistakes, it took a while to get it finished. I was so angry with myself for just, being too sure of myself. The next make for Alice is Be Creative Hoodie by Ellie and Mac. Originally, I was planning to use the hedgehog fabric and do this as a jumper, but because Alice changed her mind and I still had offcuts of the hedgehog fabric, I managed to squeeze out the front, the hood, and the parts of the sleeve, and I think it turned out absolutely cute. I also made the pockets. So this I made in size XS for adult, or XS. I need to double check, but it's a little bit snug in the bust area and in the shoulders. So I know that this pattern is relatively fitted on the top part, so I think next time I will go to medium, just to make sure that she's comfortable and she has enough space. I created my own piping for this pattern. So basically what I did, I took the bias binding I had that I used on the previous jumper, and I had narrow blue elastic in my stash, and I basically attached the sandwich the elastic between the two layers of the bias tape, kind of in the fold, use the zipper foot to create the binding, and I think it turned out super cute, and it's still stretchy, so that's a good thing, but it adds a little bit of dimension. I also made functioning drawstrings, so the pattern comes with the drawstring, but it's like a faux drawstring, it's not functioning, so Alice wanted option to just pull her hood down in case if she's very cold, so it wraps around her head. And as in the previous pattern, I did inseam pockets. They are not included in the pattern, I just hack it. For the bias binding, I use the bias binding from the Specky Seamstress as well as label from their shop, and I absolutely love how it looks like. We think Alice will take this hoodie with her to Poland when we'll go visit family. And the last but not least is the make that I had cut out a year ago or even more. So it was in my work in progress pile, and I've been putting it aside because I was a little bit afraid of sewing with this fabric. So it's a cardigan that I cut out for Alice from the fabric we got from Beyond the Pink Door when Andrea was still in Ireland. So it's faux Angora. It's absolutely beautiful. Actually, I'm not sure if it's even faux Angora, it's just a neat type of fabric. It's so soft and so cozy. And to be honest, I wasn't rushing with sewing this cardigan because it was for the size that Alice is currently wearing, and it was slightly extended till the next size, so I wasn't worrying that it won't fit. But it fits her very well, fits her perfectly. We didn't include the cuffs even though they are originally in the pattern. We just did the jersey bias tape for kind of like a fold down look. The pockets are quite cozy, but I think for the pockets they are relatively small. However, I do like the look. I used zipper foot to top stitch close to the edges and create this kind of 3D look all over. I finished everything here with the bias tape, and as you can see, it's flopping a bit. It's not perfect. In ideal world, I would hand stitch it down, but I was worried about the time commitment and the fact that I really wanted her to have this cardigan for whenever we'll go to Poland, and I knew that it will take me days to hand stitch everything because, you know, I do get tired in the evenings. I finished the bottom with the bias tape from the Specky Seamstress, and the inside here is finished with just the bias tape from my stash. As you can see, it's not perfect. Originally the pattern has buttons and buttonholes, but when Alice tried, she decided she doesn't want any buttons, she doesn't want any buttonholes, she just wanted loose, flowy, and if she wants she can just use the brush or even safety pin to just put them together. She just wasn't keen on doing anything else with it. I would be worried about doing buttonholes in this fabric because it is very stretchy. Surprisingly, my overlocker didn't mind this fabric. My Janomi was struggling with it a little bit. So mid-project I actually had to change the needle for super stretch because it wasn't happy whatsoever. However, it's finished. I'm very happy I have this work in progress done, and I absolutely love how it turned out. So as you see, I had crazy sewing week. I'm honestly exhausted. I'm tired. I'm really tired of it, but I still have few projects to finish and power through before we can start getting ready for the trip. And you know, I don't want to feel like I didn't do enough. It's not even the good word. So I know I will be without my sewing machines for a few days, and you know, I've been without them for a few days, but it's different when you don't even look at them, and I'm absolutely addicted to my sewing. So I'm trying to get as much sewing done as possible, so I will need actually a break from it. That's basically the way how my brain works. That should work fine. So after all those makes, what I else have to finish? So I need to finish trousers for Alice in brush French terry, hoodie for Chris in alpine fleece, zip up hoodie for Alice in alpine fleece, and hopefully, if I have enough time, trousers for me. Trousers for me, pattern is not trace. Trousers aren't cut out or anything, so it's very unlikely I will get to that. But you know, in case I still have few hours left, I'm gonna give it a go. Well, okay, so makes sorted, what I'm wearing sorted, plans sorted. Now live update. So we are preparing for Alice's confirmation. There's a little bit more things to do, like, you know, helping her with doing research and preparing than I remember from the time when I was doing the confirmation. But it's, you know, a different country, different approach, same Catholic Church. Anyway, we are focusing a little bit on that, plus preparations, plus a few other things, you know, the life things that are happening. But we got our car back, so life is slightly easier than it was, and I can get things sorted quicker than before. So hopefully everything will be on, you know, on a good track. I won't be here for next 2 or 3 weeks because between Alice's confirmation preparation, all the sewing that I still need to do, and our trip, and then Alice's school break and everything, it's just I won't have physically time to do any recording, or even if I would have a time to do recording, I wouldn't have time to edit, because unfortunately it does take a bit of time to edit. Even though I'm relatively experienced at this stage, it still takes me a few hours to have one video edited, uploaded, and, you know, the description done, etc. So there won't be any videos probably till first week of March. But on the 5th of March, I'm coming here with my So Frugal video. So I hope you will tune in for that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy my video. Have a lovely sewing February. Don't forget to make something for yourself that express love for Valentine's Day, and clean your sewing machine and change your needle. Happy sewing. Bye.